What's going on, the Copywriting Call Podcast? It's your boy Loso 2.0, the copy god himself. And today we're going to talk about, are you avoiding pain or increasing pleasure? Now, everything in life is one of these two things, okay? So you're either growing pain growing pain. You're either avoiding pain or you're increasing your pleasure to some degree, because that's literally what everything is made of, right? But, right now you could probably agree that, not everybody, but most of us are pretty much accepting of many things in life. The average person, oh snap, what in the world? A deer just ran out in the middle of UD. What? All right. Anyway, though. But yeah, so it's either accepting of many things in your life, right? So things are they are what they are. You just believe that everything in life is the way it's the way it is. Like there's nothing that you can change, right? Not nothing, but a lot of things you feel like, are just out of your control. That's what the average person thinks about. This is something that also people were talking about kind of in that prenup episode that I posted before, right? They were talking about how, the average person just can't control everything that happens. And, you just can't control everything in life the way it is. You can only control what you do to a certain degree and stuff like that. But I really disagree. I extremely disagree. You can control many things in your life. In fact, I believe you control everything that happens in your life, right? Because for one, the tongue is a powerful weapon. What you speak into existence happens. It's the truth, right? If you really believe in something enough, if you really put your thought into it and you put action into something enough, eventually you're going to achieve it. You can only, as E.T. said, right? You can only deny me so long. You only can. Let me throw this air on real quick. It's a little spicy up in here now. But that's true though. You can only get denied so long. If you're continuously putting in the work, if you're continuously showing the effort and, attacking, putting action into the things you're doing, only so many times you can fail. Eventually you're going to be successful. All right. But do you really want to change things in your life? All right. If you want to change a bad habit, you have to make it painful to do it. And if you want to make a good habit, you have to increase the pleasure. Example, right? Which this is a kind of weird example, but I'm gonna give you a few though today, right? So I actually, when I was growing up, I got bit on the butt cheek by a dog, right? So I cannot say I'm not afraid, literally have a phobia of dogs. I do not have a phobia of dogs. But what I can say is that I'm not really 100% fond of every single dog that comes my way, because I got bit on my butt cheek when I was younger by a dog. So now when I see a dog, all I think about is oh yeah, you know what? They can get vicious. I'm literally, when I was younger, I was just getting chased by a dog, running around. I was running for dear life. You would have thought Michael Myers was chasing me or something like that. Although, I'm not going to randomly trip. You know how that stuff happens. But I literally was getting chased around by a dog. Damn, my fault. Whew. But anyway, I was getting chased around a dog. He was chasing me around the whole front yard. It was a big dog too, a big brown dog. It's faint in my memory because I was so young. And all I could think of is I gotta get away from it. I was running, eventually got too tired, and I just held onto the pole, and the dog just came and bit me right on my butt cheek, and I just started screaming at the top of my lungs, I was the opera lady, oh, I was going in, it was a bad thing, right? I'm not even gonna lie about that, but that's what happened with the dog, though. The dog really bit me on my butt cheek. It was crazy. And then every time I see dog, all I have in my memory, in the back of my mind, is intense pain associated with dogs because of me getting bit in the butt cheek. Now, if I wanted to change that, I would have to have a dog nothing ever happened to make me change that, right? But I would have to have a dog protect me or something, protect me for something. I don't know, something good. That probably is not the best example because nothing ever changed about it. But you get what I'm saying, though. That intense pain made me, not like dogs because I got that intense pain. Like, I was afraid at first. Now it's kind of like, I don't know, iffy about dogs because of the fact that happened to me. Now, let's think about from a, like a bad habit perspective, right? Let's say, you know what I mean? All you do is, this is the perfect example, right? All I did was, basically, I ate out all the time, right? So, like, when I was at my sister's house, I ate out all the time, especially, like, Popeyes, KFC, like, every single night. Because, for some reason, we didn't cook a lot, right? So, we was always eating out, always DoorDash and everything. You know, it was during COVID. That's when everybody started gaining weight and all that stuff. So, that's what we was doing. So, we was ordering Popeyes, so I did the same thing as usual, because that's just what I have increased pleasure with that. I just think, this is so good, So I ordered Popeyes. I ate the sandwich, right? First of all, when I get this sandwich, don't get the Popeyes over Northside. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was my first mistake. But secondly, though, I get this sandwich, Popeyes sandwich, right? I don't really know what's on it. I lift up the bread, and it's like some. I knew it's supposed to be mayonnaise, but it looked like cheese on it. Like, that's what it was. It looked like cheese. And I'm like, what the? I just thought it was cheese, though, because, you know, I never knew that it was not cheese on that sandwich. So I just got it, started eating it. Instantly, when I ate it, I felt like my stomach started to get full, in a weird type of full, too. Like, only at the top. And I was just like, okay. But I kept eating anyway. That was my lunch. I go to drop, you know, Courtney off. My wife, who is now at that time was my girlfriend. I'm going to go drop her off, come back. I'm eating, you know, KFC for dinner. Now it's time to eat KFC for dinner. First of all, that's a bad eats. That's horrible eats, right? So it's just one after another. I wake up the next day. I am literally throwing up everywhere. Like, it's just horrible. Like, first of all, my job was trying to make me come into work and just sit there until someone got there, open the store. I said, I literally cannot get out of bed. Like, I'm literally throwing up everywhere. Like, it's horrible. Like, I had horrible food poisoning. And for y'all that don't know, food poisoning is worse than COVID, yo. I promise you it is. Food poisoning was the worst thing I ever had, ever. So I'm literally going in, like, throwing up, you know, just everywhere. Like, it's just bad. Like, stomach turning, bubble guts, everything. I'm tore up. And I'm just laying down. You know, when you so sick, you can't even watch TV? Like, it was bad. Like, it was really, really bad. And then after that now, I have intense pain towards Popeyes and KFC, so now I never eat it. Now my habit changed. So you see how that stuff happens. Now when you know that stuff happens, you can control that, though, now. So now you can control that type of thing, right? So let's say you want to stop eating out and all stuff like that. I would say the best way to stop it is to eat out so much that you get sick, and now you have intense pain associated with eating out. If you do drugs or something like that, right? Let's say you do drugs, you do it occasionally, take somebody to a place where people are like fiends, like a crack house or something like that, and show them what it's like. The drug, they're going to start making intense pain. Too much of something makes intense pain a lot of the times, right? So if you want to do that, now if you want to increase pleasure, it's all about training yourself. All of this stuff comes to conditioning at the end of the day, right? You have to condition your body. You can condition everything in your life to control whatever habits you want to stop and whatever habits you want to start, right? You just have to create intense emotional pain or physical pain to yourself in order to stop doing a bad habit. And if you want to start doing a good habit, you have to start increasing pleasure, intense pleasure into it. And it's kind of like, the Pavlov thing, with the dog salivating and all that stuff. I'm not going to get all into that, but I also kind of went through that with like my employees too as well, right? If you want them to do good, when they do good, I don't care if it's the slightest thing ever. Give them the greatest praise ever. Yo, that is a great job, yo. You finally doing what I kind of asked you to do. Do it immediately, too. Because people want that immediate gratification as fast as possible. So do it for yourself, too. When you're doing a bad habit, immediately apply intense pain to something. Immediately apply it. Now, when you're doing the other way, right? And when you're literally trying to get pleasure, as soon as you do something good, immediately apply intense pleasure. And here goes my last example right here for, American Dad watchers. On American Dad, that happened to Steve Smith, right? His son. his son was like, you know, kind of in that age, using puberty and stuff like that. He started thinking about girls and all that thing. And then they didn't want him to, you know, the dad didn't want to have that talk with him about sex and all that stuff. So what he did was he literally took him to a camp, right, where like they basically brainwashed him into like not liking girls, like thinking it's disgusting. So like anytime he thought of girls, every time he seen like a picture of a girl, they immediately showed him a picture of some like old nasty rock star looking dude acting crazy every single time, to the point now when he went to go look at a girl, that's all he's seen. He was ready to throw up everywhere, like he literally was like, he was so sick, right? And that's just a weird thing, but it's true facts though. So everything you do in life is either to avoid pain or increase pleasure. Now the question is, do you think with this, what are some habits that you want to change and that you can change now? And you could brainstorm below some type of ideas that you think that will either, you know what I mean, you could brainstorm with some ideas you think is either going to make you feel, increase pleasure, that you can change in some different ways to put pain to your bad habits, and some ways to put pleasure to your good habits. That's all I had to say today, man. Just keep killing the day. And most of all, just remember, you pray for marketing like this. Copy God out.